We've seen a substantial increase in the number of cases in Canada over the past several days. And when we say the window is closing, this is exactly what we mean.
Blunt words from Canada's health minister, who, along with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his cabinet, are underscoring the major consequences Canada is facing if we fail to contain the COVID-19 pandemic.
We all must take all action through social distancing to protect our health and the health of others.
Among the other actions Trudeau and his emergency COVID-19 cabinet are contemplating are major economic measures, expected to be announced Wednesday by Finance Minister Bill Morneau.
We are hard at work to create the right support package for Canadians while protecting people's jobs and our economy.
Canada is in a fortunate position in that we have the fiscal firepower to act, and we will.
In an interview Tuesday morning with City News Parliament Hill Bureau Chief Cormac McSweeney, Trudeau said he's considering boosting the Canada Child Benefit, providing supports for workers who don't qualify for EI and help with mortgages. And a new measure is on the table, the Emergency Measures Act. Trudeau's cabinet starting to talk about whether invoking the act would help Canada's response.
We are looking at the Emergency Act to look at what those measures are that it would make available and whether there are other ways without having to bring in a state of emergency that we could invoke them.
Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland saying it's not necessary right now because Canada, the provinces and everyday Canadians are working well together.
We are very aware that the Emergencies Act is a measure of last resort.
The last PM to invoke a state of emergency, Justin's dad, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, during the October crisis 50 years ago. Meanwhile, the government is facing questions about why the U.S.-Canada border is still open. Freeland saying it comes down to the supply chain.
That border is literally a lifeline. We get our groceries thanks to truckers who drive back and forth across that border. Very urgently needed medical supplies and medicines go back and forth across that border.
Now, for non-Canadians coming from anywhere outside the U.S., our border will be closed as of Wednesday at noon Eastern. This as thousands of Canadians are scrambling to come home, and there are now going to be stepped-up border screenings with public health oversight. And Transport Minister Mark Garneau is reminding travelers that if you're sick, you will not be allowed to board a plane.
If a person is symptomatic, they will not be allowed to come home until their symptoms are treated wherever they happen to be.
As for those Canadians stuck abroad, the federal government offering loans of up to $5,000 to help get them home or stay safe while they wait. For City News, I'm Melissa Duggan.